Hello and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's top 10 favorite episodes of The Expanse. In this video I will count down my top 10 favorite episodes of one of my favorite shows of all time, The Expanse. Now if you're unfamiliar with my channel, I should let you know that The Expanse is one of my favorite shows of all time, if not my favorite. I believe I did a countdown once, counting down my favorite shows of the past decade, and The Expanse was number one. I think I did a sci-fi countdown, and The Expanse is number one. Suffice to say, I absolutely and totally love this show, and just to show how much I love this show, I will now put up a picture of my two cats, and their names are Holden and Naomi. Holden is a bit mischievous and likes to break the rules. Naomi kind of whines a lot when she wants food. But anyway, yes, I named my two cats after characters from The Expanse. It just goes to show how much I love this show. Now, I had previously done a ranking of the episodes, but I did a video called Ranking All Episodes of The Expanse, where I took every single episode of The Expanse and ranked them from my least favorite to my favorite. However, that video was 3.5 hours long, and I realized, a lot of people may not want to watch a 3.5 hour long video, so I thought I'd come in and make a more concise video that just talks about my top 10 favorite episodes. Now, these episodes are the ones I personally like. It's my personal opinion. I know sometimes popular opinion does not necessarily agree with this, but I did want to present my 10 episodes that I personally loved, and you're very welcome to voice the episodes you like or what you think about these episodes in the comment section below. Just know that these are just the episodes that really spoke personally to me. So let's go ahead and jump into my top 10. Starting with my number 10, Critical Mass, which is the penultimate episode of season 1, which deals with Holden and Miller meeting for the first time and dealing with Protogen running their deadly experiments on errors and them discovering this and what to do about it. But what I love most about this episode is the opening sequence that shows what happened to Julie Mal. We get her side of the story, which I think is extremely tragic, from her getting captured by the Protogen goons and then running up on Eros and dying from the proto-molecule, which was very tragic. I thought it was absolutely amazing. So next we'll get into my number 9, which is The Monster in the Rocket, which is the penultimate episode of season 2. Season 2 episode 12, that deals with Holden going off on his Ahab chase of the proto-molecule hybrid, with Alex trying to hold him back, and Naomi dealing with civilians trying to get out of Ganymede, and had the lengths that she goes through, even risking her own life to save the civilians, and her plea to get people to listen to her, and then Holden finally coming back and coming through to her and saving her was absolutely amazing. And we also, of course, get the storyline with Avasarala and Bobby Draper meeting with Jewel Pierre Mal, which does not go very well. So yes, an amazing, heartfelt episode in my opinion. So next we'll get to my number 8, which is Doors and Corners, season 2 episode 2. That was a really exciting, suspenseful episode that deals with the Rosinante attacking the proto-molecule, the Protogen station, I should say. That it was great seeing them get their revenge, but of course I absolutely love this episode for Miller's big moment at the end of the episode where he just shoots the lead scientist dead on, not because he was talking crazy, but because he was making sense, which is what he'll say later on. But basically he didn't want Fred Johnson to take this scientist off and do more experiments. Very powerful moment, very powerful episode. So next we will get into my number 7, which is Why We Fight, season 6 episode 5, the penultimate episode of this series, that deals with Drummer trying to make an alliance with Avasarala, or sorry, other way around, Avasarala trying to make an alliance with Drummer, who rightfully is very distrustful of the UN, but Naomi goes in a very heartfelt way to get a Drummer to listen to reason, and we get one of my favorite heartfelt scenes, which deals with the unrequited love between Drummer and Naomi, and I thought that was extremely powerful. And seeing a Drummer and Avasarala finally make their amendments, it was an amazing character episode all around. So next, we will get into my number 6, which is Dandelion Sky, Season 3, Episode 10, which deals with Holden going into the weird station in the middle of the slow zone with the ghost Miller talking to his head. And at first, Holden is very distrustful of him, but he gets Miller to open up as his time was what it was like to die with Julie Mal. And I thought this was an extremely touching moment. This is followed up by an exciting confrontation between the Martian Marines, where that Marine is ripped in half and Bobby Draper tries to kill Holden, and then Holden has his weird vision of the proto-molecule creators of whole worlds being destroyed, which was very, very trippy. So love this episode. So next we'll get into my number 5, Oi Ding, or however that's pronounced. Sorry if my belter is not really up to snuff. But anyway, this is a very powerful character episode, which I understand is not very well liked by many fans, but I personally love this episode, which deals with the regret of Naomi leaving her son behind and her trying to write that and trying to reach out to him, but Marco outmaneuvering her, and even her friend Sen abandoning her where she has no choice but to risk her life by jumping into space to get to another ship, which accidentally kills her friend, who misinterpreted this attempt as a suicide attempt. An extremely emotional episode in my opinion, and I thought a very powerful episode. So next, we'll get to my number 4, which is Triple Point, and who doesn't love a good mutiny story? And this, I think, is one of my favorite mutiny stories of all time, that deals with the struggle between Admiral Nguyen and Admiral Souther. Admiral Souther is clearly in the right, however, is not the smartest cookie in the bunch. In fact, reminds me a lot of Ned Stark in that way, and so you get this bloody struggle between the two, as people on both sides die, and which spreads to the UN fleet, which starts firing on each other, and the Martian fleet, of course, has a very smart captain who takes advantage of this and sides with the southern side of the UN. And so it was just a very exciting episode, which ends with, Admiral Nguyen launching those protomolecule missiles towards Mars with a sinister smirk on his face. Very, very powerful. So next, we will get into my number 3, Gargamella, episode 4 of season 5. This, of course, deals with the devastating attack that Marco Arnau's enacts on Earth, where many people die, atrocities, chaos ensues, and meanwhile, chaos spreads to Tycho Station, where Fred Johnson is assassinated, and Holden tries to prevent the protomolecule from being stolen, but is unsuccessful as he's slapped in the face by a drone. Extremely emotional, extremely powerful episode that's topped off with that powerful signature speech by Marco at the end. Absolutely love this. So next, we will get to my number 2 second favorite episode of The Expanse, Babylon's Ashes, Season 6, Episode 6, the series finale, and in my opinion, one of the best series finales of all time, that deals with the struggle of trying to stop Marco Arnau. So we have very emotional scenes with Drummer's confrontation with them. We also have, of course, emotional scenes with the Rocinante doing a very risky maneuver to try to retake the station in the heart of the slow zone, and succeeding, but taking huge losses, and you have that huge friendship between Bobby Draper and Amos, which was earned so well this season, where Amos absolutely has his back watched by Bobby Draper, who sticks up for him. And then the ending, of course, where Naomi comes up with the big plan to use the evil aliens to kill Marco Arnau, even though she thinks this will also kill her son, and she at the heart-stricken cry when she believed her son was killed was absolutely heart-wrenching, even though we know that he wasn't. It was still great. And of course, The Expanse ends in kind of the best way possible, with Holden tricking Avasarala, who tries to make him the president of the new trades union, but instead he gives it to Drummer, who actually really deserves it. What a perfect ending for a perfect show. So next, we will get into my number 1 favorite episode of The Expanse, and that is Home. One of the most heartfelt episodes or stories of any film, television medium of that ever, in my opinion, that deals with arrows hurling towards Earth, and all these suspense as everyone thinks they're going to die, and this will be the extinction event of the human race. Holden's willing to risk his life and the life of his crew in order to stop it. However, it boils down to Miller, who's been on the search for Julie Mao this whole show to this point, discovering that she is in fact the heart of the proto-molecule, and so he knows how to relate with her and really relates to her by conveying his true love for her. Even though he never met her, he studied her, he believes he knows her, and he seems to be correct and manages to talk her down in one of the most heartfelt scenes I believe that is ever in existence. So that is my number one home. So that is it for my top 10 episodes of The Expanse. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more content about The Expanse, as I said, I did a ranking of every single episode of The Expanse. I will link that in the below. It is a 3.5 hour long video. However, I've done many more reviews of The Expanse and many videos on The Expanse on my channel, so you can check out my channel for all of that. And thanks a lot for watching.